Today, all of Koji's classes were in the morning. On his way to meet Yo for lunch, after his final lecture, Koji suddenly gets a phone call in the middle of the hallway. Without thinking, he reaches into his belt for his new camera phone, but curses when he realizes the ringtone is coming from the old phone in his bag. He brought a camera phone to see what all the rage was about. Wait, they're in Japan. How old is this? But couldn't bring himself to discard his simple, much easier to use old phone. He ended up walking around with both. He hasn't transferred his contacts list yet, and calls still to his old phone from people who don't know the new number. When he finally fishes the phone from his bag, the name he sees on the display sends a chill up his spine. Fuminori. Why now? What does he want? It's hard for Koji to be happy about a call from Fuminori now, long after he gave up on such a thing ever being possible. Yes? Hey Koji, you're done with classes for today, right? Yeah. Fuse Fuminori would know that Koji has always a lot of free time on Thursday afternoons. I have something to talk to you about. Can you come to the parking lot? Now? Yeah, I'll be waiting. Fuminori hangs up without another word. What's gotten into him? What does he want? Koji wonders as he sticks the phone into his jacket pocket. This sudden change is disturbing after a week of Fuminori clearly trying to avoid both Koji and Yo. Maybe he's finally ready to talk, in which case, Koji should probably consider this a good thing. However, he can't shake his unease completely. Did I keep you waiting? Nah. In the parking lot, Koji finds Fuminori leaning against a fender of Koji's Accord. This is the first time he's seen Fuminori since the night at the mysterious abandoned house. It's been a long time since they've spoken face to face, in the light. Perhaps that's why Koji senses something strange in Fuminori's expression. He's not sure what, exactly, but something has definitely changed. It certainly isn't his stunning good looks. I think I told you before that I'm currently looking for the information on a man named Ogi. Yes, so I've heard. Well, it's starting to get more... Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, it's starting to get more complicated. It looks like I can't handle it by myself after all. Fuminori seems more relaxed than before. He used to be tense all the time, like he was terrified of something, but now his expression is calm, and he's even wearing what resembles a sheepish grin. So I need your help, Koji. Nevertheless, some instinct is telling Koji that Fuminori's changes are not at all for the better. Why the sudden change of heart? Koji asks, keeping his expression neutral to conceal his suspicion. You're involved too, aren't you? Fuminori responds coolly, his smile, unreadable as ever, offers no glimpse of his true motives. You searched Professor Ogi's house after me, didn't you? It's a waste of time. Oh my god, shut up. It's a waste of time for us to look for him separately. It'd be more efficient if we teamed up. Ellipses. Why? Why does there seem to be malice, thick and vicious, lurking behind Fuminori's smile? Anyway, I talk slowly. Mind driving? Well, no. Fuminori's car was destroyed in the accident, so Koji isn't surprised that he'd need a lift. Koji unlocks the cord and gestures for Fuminori to take the passenger seat. Then he gets behind the wheel and starts the engine. Well, where are we going? North Tochigi, near Nassau Heights. I don't have to say that, I think y'all heard that one. Even Koji can't conceal his surprise at this. Here's the address, Fuminori says, handing Koji a photo with an address on the back. I want you to find this building. Rather than be angry at Fuminori, Koji is simply amazed that he seriously expects to be driven over 100 kilometers. If we leave now, we should be there by evening, right? Yeah, maybe. Koji sighs heavily, tapping the steering wheel as he calms himself down. Now that he's come this far, the only thing he can do is see his friend's craziness through to the end. Is this a vacation home or something? Probably. Probably Professor Ogi should be there. Koji isn't looking forward to meeting the owner of that strange house, but he's even more uneasy about letting Fuminori go alone. Looks like he just has to grin and bear it. We might not get back until night. Sorry for the trouble. Don't mention it. Koji drives out of the parking lot, leaving the rest of what he'd planned to say unspoken. Fuminori's smile seems somehow wrong, like an emotionless mask glued to his face. Yo finds herself sitting alone in the cafeteria, searching for a familiar face as her lunch cools on the table in front of her. It's not as though she and Koji planned to meet, and it wouldn't be all unusual for him to have another engagement. When he hadn't been able to show up in the past, Umi and Fuminori would pick up the slack. But neither Umi or Fuminori is here anymore. Yo puts down her chopsticks, her appetite ruined by the lack of company, and even more by the anxiety eating at her. She knows that Umi's absence isn't because of some illness or unavoidable business. She doesn't know why Fuminori suddenly turned against her. If Koji were here, she had counted him distracted from her worries with some idle conversation. Now she's all by herself, Jill becomes keenly aware of how little tolerance she has for loneliness. She begins to feel paranoid, like the world itself is plotting to steal everything from her. What exactly is going on here? Where has Umi gone? Is Fuminori really uninvolved? Or is he the key to this mystery that Koji and Dr. Tenbo suspected? Yo will never forget what happened last Thursday, alone and without an outlet for her pain after Fuminori verbally eviscerated her. Yo had been lucky enough to catch sight of Koji. Concerned, he had listened to her, and although he could hardly make her problem go away, his kindness had comforted her. At the same time, Umi had been on her way to Fuminori's house, and she hasn't been heard from since. Yo has only been aware of Fuminori's connection to Umi's disappearance since yesterday, when the truth had been revealed during their visit to the T University Hospital. What if his girlfriend killed and ate her? Yo considers the new possibility, trying to find the answer to the question, why did Umi suddenly decide to go to Fuminori's house? What if it hadn't been a coincidence? Oh, I should have probably turned Steam off. Hold on. Okay. What if it hadn't been a coincidence that Yo had run into Koji that day? What if Koji and Umi both knew what had happened between her and Fuminori and decided to act separately? Umi might not have seen the confrontation in the courtyard. She might have been eavesdropping. It's not unthinkable. Dots. As the idea forms in her mind, Yo feels as though something is tearing apart her body from the inside. It's only a possibility, but if it's true, then whatever happened to Umi is Yo's responsibility too, isn't it? No, not at all. How would you... Yo clutches her head, groaning in agony. The food she brought on her tray is now cold, not that she would have eaten it anyways. Despite the frustration and anxiety tormenting her, Yo is unable to act on her own. She has never been very flexible, nor is she known for her sharp intuition. She hasn't the slightest idea how to respond to this situation. If Umi were here, she would probably tell Yo to think positive and trust her instincts. Yo has always depended on her best friend's energy. Now that Umi is gone, Yo realizes just how weak and useless she is. Powerless to stop herself, she can only sink deeper and deeper into a vicious cycle of self-loathing. The sudden sound of her phone ringing is what pulls her back from the brink of despair. It's a text. There's no title, and the sender is... Omi-chan? Yo cries out in shock. The message itself, however, is even more baffling. Do you want to know about Sakasaka Fuminori? If so, come to his house alone. Tell no one. Oh, this has got bad news all over it. The message bears no trace of Umi's personality, but Yo can't deny it was sent from Umi's phone. She takes a deep breath to calm herself before typing her reply, taking care that excitement doesn't cause her fingers to slip. Is that you, Umi-chan? Where are you? Why does Japan have primitive phones? Yo presses send, and the screen shows her that the message received successfully. As she waits for a reply, her mind fills with questions, because it wasn't filled with those already. Is someone else using Umi's phone to send text messages? Yes they are. If so, why to her? Something suddenly occurs to her. She and Umi have exchanged countless messages, many of which contain the sort of embarrassing confessions that close female friends share. At times when her hidden feelings for Fuminori grew too strong to contain, Yo often put them into words for Umi to read. Did Umi put a password on her phone? Even if she had, the person who sent the message was obviously able to unlock it, which means that whoever it is has full access to the messages she and Umi have sent each other. Do you want to know about Sakasaka Fuminori? Yo reads the strange message one more time. Whoever sent that must believe that Yo has an interest in Fuminori. The phone suddenly rings again, startling Yo, but she quickly recovers and looks at the screen. There's no title, and the sender is still Takahata Umi. Takahata Umi. I'll tell you everything when we meet. Come alone. Tell no one. Douse yourself in barbecue sauce. It's not Umi. She would never try to scare Yo with such a mean-spirited prank. Anxiety has brought Yo to tears. Her mind isn't made to deal with such situation. Whoever is using Umi's phone and promising to reveal Fuminori's secrets, who is it? Yo is helpless on her own. She desperately wants advice from Koji, from anyone. She even starts to dial Koji's cell, but a sudden suspicion stops her. The sender might be somewhere nearby, watching her at this very moment. A cold chill runs down her spine as she looks feverishly over the cafeteria. Come alone. Tell no one. The lifeless characters on the screen are like a knife against her throat. However, Yo clutches her phone and forces her heart to stop pounding. Isn't this cowardice exactly what she was just cursing herself so mercilessly for? Doesn't she want to know what she's capable of? Doesn't she want to know more than just sit and wait? Yo realizes that her hand holding the phone is shaking. How easy would it be to just give in to her cowardice, to convince herself that everything, even Umi and Fuminori, is beyond her reach. That is what she truly wants. Even if it means abandoning all sense of dignity or loyalty, she wants to flee from the unknowable. However, she also knows that even escape is beyond her. Yo understands herself well. She knows that no matter how far she runs, regret and self-loathing will consume her, and everything has fallen to pieces. In the end, Yo is unable to overcome her cowardice alone. She lacks both the willpower and the courage to run. These are good things then, right? The silence of the afternoon neighborhood seemed somehow forbidding. A stink in the air, as though someone's garbage has been left out for a long time. Even this perfectly normal residential area appears ominous to Yo in her current state. She feels like she's standing in the middle of a ghost town where everyone in the surrounding houses have died. Yo pushes her fear aside and presses the buzzer on. Oh god, she went there anyway. She didn't see Fuminori in class today. Is he at home? He couldn't be the one who sent those awful messages, could he? She doesn't want to even consider the possibility, so she forces the unwelcome thought from her mind. There's no response from the intercom. Joe doesn't know, of course, that Umi stood in the same place 1 week ago, staring at the silent intercom with the same confusion that Yo is experiencing now. Yo, however, is not forced to wait as Umi was. The phone in her pocket suddenly rings, catching her completely off guard. It's another untitled text message from Umi's phone. Come in. The door is open. Yo looked around quickly, a shiver running through her as she realizes that she's being watched. Oh boy, I should grab a drink real quick. Searching feverishly for her observer, Yo spots movement out of the corner of her eye on the second floor of the Sakisaka house. A tightly drawn window curtain just fluttered slightly. The watcher, the person who has been sending the messages, is inside the house. Only now does Yo realize that every other window in its storm shutter is completely closed. No matter what happens inside, no one will ever know. This time she is nearly overwhelmed by the intense urge to run away and never look back. However, the terror she feels towards the invisible eye staring at her is many times more powerful. She has nowhere to run. Yo bursts into tears, unable to take one step forward or back. The phone rings again in her hand, as though demanding that she enter the house at once. She steps to the gate, her legs so shaky that they hardly seem to connect to her. Oh boy. When she enters the house, an undeniable stench assaults her nostrils. The house is dark, even though it's in the middle of the day. Fuminori must be out, as his shoes are not in the vestibule. However, Yo catches sight of a different pair of shoes stuffed behind the shoe cupboard. They look familiar, till she pulls them out of the shadows. Sorry, the word stretching across the screen throws me off sometimes. She pulls them out of the shadows for a closer look. As soon as she recognizes them, her mind tries desperately to find a way to deny reality. They are definitely the same as Umi's favorite shoes. Yo has seen her wearing them any number of times. However, that doesn't mean that Umi is here in this house. They might belong to someone else entirely different. Someone who bought the same shoes from the same store. There's no way Umi could be here. In a sudden flash of insight, Yo pressed the most frequently used speed dial button on her phone. Still tightly clenched fist. The phone dials Umi's number. It only takes a second for the signal to reach the nearest relay station, and then... Whoa. A familiar melody echoes through the house, the unmistakable sound of Umi's phone. It's coming from the second floor. Someone must still be up there in the room with the moving curtains. Umi's phone only rings for a few moments, and then it stops, as whoever is holding it realizes Yo's intentions. For the first time, Yo feels the definite presence of her formless guide. Who's there?
I always feel like somebody's watching me.